10 years after his death, a man's final wish wasn't peace, it was revenge. When a journalist opens his letter, she doesn't just uncover his secret, she becomes part of it. Some wishes don't die, they wait. Evelyn Cross sat alone in her apartment, sorting through stacks of unread letters when one caught her attention. An old envelope, stained with age, bearing no return address. Inside was a single sheet, handwritten in elegant ink. My wish is not yet complete. Help me finish it, Thomas Hargrove. Shocked, Evelyn realized Hargrove had died a decade ago in the small town of Cedar Hill. Curiosity turned to obsession as she packed her bags to uncover the truth. Upon arrival, she noticed the townspeople avoided eye contact, their whispers cut off when she mentioned Hargrove's name. That night, visiting the graveyard, she froze. His tombstone had been freshly carved, her own name engraved beneath his. The next morning, Evelyn followed local directions to the outskirts of town, where Hargrove's mansion loomed, shrouded in fog and ivy. The door creaked open with a slow moan, as if expecting her arrival. Inside, everything seemed untouched by time. Half-melted candles, a cup of tea still warm, and dustless floors. In the study, a journal lay open on a desk, detailing Hargrove's forbidden experiments to reverse death through ritual magic. She felt a chill crawl up her spine as faint whispers echoed through the empty hallways. When she tried to leave, the front door slammed shut violently, locking her inside. A low, hollow voice murmured, "You read my wish." Evelyn checked into a small roadside motel, shaken but determined to continue her investigation. Each night, she felt unseen eyes watching her from outside her window. At first, she dismissed it as paranoia, until she caught a pale silhouette standing motionless across the road. The next day, she demanded to see the security footage. It showed only her room, empty, though her curtains moved on their own. Seeking help, she met Sheriff Dalton, who sternly warned her to leave town. Later, a retired nurse confessed that Hargrove's coffin was never filled with a body, only soil and burnt symbols. That night, Evelyn awoke to wet, muddy footprints leading from her window straight to her bed. Desperate for answers, Evelyn returned to the mansion and deciphered more of Hargrove's journal. It revealed his final wish, not immortality for himself, but for his consciousness to live on through whoever discovered his secret. Every step she took drew her closer to fulfilling that prophecy. She noticed subtle changes in herself, lost time, unfamiliar handwriting in her notebook, and a voice echoing her thoughts. One evening, while brushing her hair, her reflection blinked after she did, whispering in Hargrove's deep voice, "We are almost one." Terrified, she smashed the mirror, but the laughter that followed wasn't hers. The wish was already taking root. Evelyn began uncovering the darker truth behind Cedar Hill. The town's elders revealed that Hargrove's curse was no myth. He had promised them prosperity in exchange for their silence. Every 10 years, a new host was chosen unknowingly, carrying fragments of his soul. In an underground chamber beneath his mansion, Evelyn discovered jars filled with preserved human hearts, each labeled by decade. Horrified, she realized the victims were past hosts who never survived long enough to complete the transformation. As she fled, whispers surrounded her, hundreds of voices pleading for release. She finally understood. Hargrove's wish was not for life, but for eternity, no matter the cost. Determined to stop him, Evelyn prepared to destroy the chamber. But as the clock struck midnight, her body trembled under Hargrove's growing power. Her eyes flickered between her own and his, and her hands carved ancient symbols into the floor without her control. The church bells of Cedar Hill began ringing wildly, though no one was there to pull the ropes. Outside, animals fled as a storm gathered unnaturally fast. The air grew cold, and she felt his presence fully inside her mind. When she screamed for help, her voice layered with his, creating a sound that shook the windows. Two souls fighting for one body. Now fully possessed, Evelyn became Hargrove's living vessel. Sheriff Dalton and the remaining townsfolk gathered at the old church with an ancient ritual found in hidden town records. They drew protective circles and chanted in desperate unison as Evelyn, or rather Hargrove, entered. Her movements were distorted, her grin inhuman. When the ritual began, lights surged through the stained glass, shattering it into the night. Evelyn convulsed, both her and Hargrove's voices overlapping in agonized defiance. The ground trembled, candles extinguished, and a final scream echoed through the town, half male, half female, before silence fell like death. When dawn broke, Evelyn lay unconscious on the church floor. Hargrove's spirit was gone, or so it seemed. With trembling hands, she finished writing his story, knowing it was the only way to truly end his wish. She published everything, exposing the curse and freeing Cedar Hill from decades of terror. But before leaving, she burned the mansion to ashes, watching flames erase the past. As the smoke faded, a whisper touched her ear. "You gave me life, now rest." Months later, in her apartment far away, she received another letter in familiar handwriting, signed by Evelyn Cross, dated 1 year into the future.